Harris County Department of Education now convened in a board meeting on Wednesday, July 20th, 2022, in the boardroom at 6300 Irvington Boulevard, Houston, Texas, at 1:07 p.m. I wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present in this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to report from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the department are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by Section 551.071 to 551.084, inclusive of the Texas Government Code. I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking time today to join us and for your interest in the Harris County Department of Education. Moving on, we will start with an invocation from Natalia Sumner.
Good afternoon. If you would bow with me for a moment. Father, as we gather today with a spirit of stewardship, we ask that you bless this meeting. We ask that each person has an open heart and mind as they make decisions that affect the students, staff, and residents of Harris County. Thank you for your many blessings. Amen.
And the Pledge of Allegiance by Charisma Tolbert.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee. Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. We have an open forum. We do have one speaker or one addressing from Jose Rivera and Amanda Perter, if you're available.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Amanda Perter, and I just want to talk a little bit about minority and women-owned businesses. Minorities fuel the local economy, with minority and women-owned businesses playing a major part, and it is important to make sure that MWBEs have equitable access to economic opportunities. To ensure that ISDs and community colleges offer equitable vendor and procurement opportunities to MWBEs, the Harris County Commissioners Court approved a $2.5 million disparity study funding pool. Commissioner Ellis wanted to ensure that your district could participate with no financial burden. This funding allows your district to participate in a joint disparity study fund to track the data to determine the use of MWBEs in your district in comparison to the number of MWBEs in our community. I ask that you commit to conducting a disparity study to support developing an MWBE program using national best practices. This will help level the playing field for vendors who have been historically underutilized and disadvantaged. Thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon. Just to echo Amanda's comments as well, I'm here representing Harris County Precinct 1, Commissioner Rodney Ellis's office. As mentioned, Harris County is one of the most diverse counties in the U.S. minorities making up 74% of the approximately 4.8 million residents living in the region. Minorities fuel the local economy, with minority women-owned businesses playing a major part. There are over 100,000 small businesses operated by minorities in the region. Minority-owned businesses represent 30% of all startups in Houston. These businesses spend over $50 billion annually. When minority-owned businesses thrive, more jobs are created in communities of color and more resources become available to combat historic disinvestment. It is important to make sure that MWBEs have equitable access to economic opportunities. This data will allow you to, the importance of this study with this data will allow you to address any gaps in business opportunities if the study identifies them. In addition, the deadline to express interest of this study has been extended to August 11, 2022. There is still time to join the 5 districts and community colleges that have already committed. Data shows that MWBEs receive fewer contracting opportunities with city, school districts, and other public procurement opportunities. The 2020 Houston Disparity Study, which compared contracts awarded to MWBEs versus those operated by majority owners, showed that only 9.1% of Harris County contracts were awarded to MWBEs, even though these firms make up 28.4% of the available pool of vendors needed. Of the 9.1 total contracts, 0.5 of Harris County contract dollars went to Black-owned businesses, 0.6 to Asian-owned firms, and 4.6 of contracts go to Hispanic-owned businesses. Similar MWBE vendor disparities were found in both the Port of Houston and Metro's contracting practices. We do not want our community left behind when public dollars are being spent on such critical infrastructure or resources for education in our communities. Equity in contracts is very important. We hope you consider this strongly, and our ask is that you commit to conducting a disparity study to support developing an MWBE program using national best practices. This will help level the playing field for vendors who have been historically underutilized, not only in our community, but in our country as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a public hearing on the HCDE 2022-2023 budget.
We had a public, this is a public hearing, but we had a meeting earlier today, a budget meeting, a workshop, and so this is the same presentation regarding the adoption workshop for the budget. We'll talk a little bit about the budget overview, the development plans for capital improvement plan, and we'll look at the next steps in terms of adopting the budget and also the tax rate coming up. This is our planning cycle. We are currently at the budget approval stage. We started early in the year in February with our budget instructions manual, and now we're ready for presentation and adoption of the budget. In terms of our goals for fiscal year 23, goal 1 is about 17%. Goal 2 is 15%. Goal 3, 46%. Goal 4, 14%. And goal 5, 8%. Our total budget is $172,919,156, and our operating budget is $126 million. There's an adjustment on the agenda, and I gave to Ms. Lengua to adjust the agenda language. 37% is our general fund, 27% is our special revenue fund, debt service is 2%, 25% are capital projects, 4% internal service, and 5% are enterprise fund. In terms of what's included in the inflows for the budget, 556 billion in property values projected, projected at the current tax rate at 0.004990, collection rate of 98%, adjustment and increases in choice revenues continue with the grants as well, and then adjustment for workers' comp and internal services and our contracts that have increased in special schools as well. What changes were made to the budget since last workshop? Approximately $100,000 in choice revenues, fees for services, and then adding a FTE for community engagement director, health insurance, workers' comp, property insurance, and some other department-wide adjustments to a tune of $400,000 that was adjusted from the last budget meeting that we had. The inflows in the general fund are $62,328,640. Primarily, property taxes are 44%, 38% fees for services, indirect costs 4%, transfer scene 7.5%, state funding $3,698,000, and or rather that's 6%, and 0.46 as other miscellaneous revenues. General fund expenditures 63.6, primarily is payroll is our largest expenditure, 41.9, and then contracted services at 5.3. 24.95 positions that were already approved by the board, and there is one more that is included as community engagement director that is added as part of our budget for today. Property values, we are at a preliminary estimate of $556 million. July the 25th, we will receive a preliminary, another preliminary estimate, and then August the 25th, we will have the final certification. This is the information that I presented to you a couple months ago regarding the estimates, and it could be between 540 and 597 billion, the estimate for 2022. Tax rate, as you see, since 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19 has been declining in property tax rates. So we're projecting to do the same for fiscal year 2023 based on their values. The estimated collections for 2023 are going to be $27,215,681. Again, those are including a 556 billion estimate in terms of property values. Our capital improvement plan, phase 2, includes 2 projects, the Equine Center and the maintenance projects. We also talked about the maintenance project being $8.5 million at the feasibility study, feasibility committee. And so we have some maintenance projects dealing with the roof, HVAC systems, and other maintenance costs that are going to be coming in the next 2 to 3 years. The general fund, we're projecting that to be $20,087,082 after next year, after all the changes, and primarily unassigned will continue to be strong at $16,022,698 as an estimate as of, again, looking at as of August 2023, a year from now. The next steps include where we're at is approval later on in the agenda, the budget approval, July 20th. July the 25th, we'll have preliminary values, and then we have certified value of August the 25th, potential public hearing on September, and then if we don't approve in September, you still have available until October, but we cannot go beyond October to adopt the tax rate. That's the information, and we'll welcome any public comment on the budget.
Any questions? Would anyone from the public like to speak in forum? No. Seeing none, thank you, Dr. Amesqua.
Thank you.
We'll now have a report from the superintendent.
Thank you. I guess President Duhan, interim president. First, I would like to give out my thoughts and prayers to Trustee Cantu. His father-in-law passed today, and so our thoughts and prayer go out to him and his family. Really only a couple of things to report this month. Last week, the leadership team, along with myself, did extensive training for 2 days on how to give presentations. And so we, what's the word we use? We do clear eye, clear brain, eye brain. I want people to recognize my hand gestures as I speak, that we need to speak broad and at several different levels, and how I connect with you one-on-one while I finish a sentence and then I move on to a next person. Yeah, give me a hand. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Great training. As you know, we are aspiring to be exceptional, and to do that, even people at the leadership team level need to refine our skills and get better at what we do. I've done hundreds of presentations, and I did not know some of the habits that I have when I actually speak in front of people that I was reminded of several times by my colleagues in my group. So it was very, very good, and I hope that we can extend the learning to others in our divisions, and we will continue to press forward and become the best administrators we can be. Next, I'm going to draw your attention to these save the dates. Our convocation is around the corner. Convocation this year will be August 12th at Kingdom Builders at 10 o'clock. And so comms and myself have been hard and heavy working on that. I need to figure out what I'm going to say. I've got a couple weeks to do that. But we really look forward to it. We hope something doesn't pop up this year that forces us to go back to videos. Anyone who knows me closely knows I hate doing the videos. I much rather meet with our people one-on-one. I think it's going to be a great convocation. Convocation is symbolic to this organization that we begin a new school year. Even though we're not flooded with students like so many other school districts are, we serve the people who serve students, and we serve students ourselves. And so we don't want to get stuck in this cyclical track where we can't tell one year different from another. And so it is important that we come together as a family and we fellowship. I love the opportunity to speak to the staff that I love so dearly and take that time, 40 minutes, 50 minutes to do that so they can just endure me for a little bit. I will never pay someone to speak to our staff for me. And so I really look forward to that, and I hope our board can attend because they love you too. And so I want you to see all the love that you get. So with that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have an annual division update by the Budget, Business Services, and Purchasing Department.
And folks, we get to watch Dr. Mesqua use some of his new skills that he learned last week during our training.
Yes. 4x4. Yes. We're going to do today a combined presentation. We have the business office and the purchasing office. Before I get started, I would like to introduce our directors and also our staff. We have Marcia Leiva, and we also have Assistant Director of Purchasing, Dr. Edna Johnson, and we have our staff here. If you would please stand up and be recognized. They are the backbone of what we do every day, and it would not be possible without their efforts. And so what you see is a collective effort of everybody contributing to the reports and the activities. So who are we? Formally, we are the Wild Rocking Finance staff. The average tenure is about 5 years. Our focus is to exceed client expectations and maximize fiscal resources. And I'm going to try to point. Quality support services. I cleared it. But we are informal as well. So you see here, we also celebrate whenever we have some fun. And so we have a group during Halloween that we did last year. So Our leadership group has over 90 years experience, and we've primarily focused on goal number 1, 2, and 3 in our division. One of the things that we do is we look at a balanced scorecard, which are 4 areas. One of the things that I found myself doing in preparing this report, I was actually teaching a class on cost accounting and scorecard, and I said, you know what, let me do what I teach and into what I do every day. So there's 4 elements to our presentation today. We'll look at financial, customer, internal business processes, learning and growth, which is our part of our vision and our mission in the business office. So first of all, we'll look at customer service highlights. We have payroll on the go. Our payroll office goes out to divisions and tries to provide excellent customer service. We have some fun, as you can see, what we have in some of the pictures, and continuous support with the organization. We do have launched a investor relations bond for whoever buys our bonds, the Department of Ed. We do have transport trainings. We do have the budget hearings, and so that's part of what we do on a day-to-day basis. This is an activity, an event that we attended and we also participated in. It is the annual Rotary Club Adoption Fair that we have here in the conference room, and so this is in joint with CPS, and so we have a lot of activities here, and so a lot of our staff just volunteer for this particular event. So you can see with some of our folks having fun there. It is a lot of fun to interact with some of the kids and some of the staff from CPS as well. We also provide services to other districts. So currently have a title of interim CFO at Stafford, and so that you see on the right the board presentation, the first board meeting that I attended a couple months ago, and on the left it was the budget presentation, the joint workshop with the city and the school board as well. So that was kind of their setting in their school board. We have internal businesses, processes, and highlights, and you have basically some of the highlights here. We do have a fraud awareness process, a risk assessment process internally. We're compliant and Edgar leader in the community and also in the TASBO industry. We had the 2021 Pinnacle winner this last year. We had 648 attendees at the School Finance Council, which basically, it's actually, we were all virtual this last year, and so our numbers actually went up because being virtual. We had 8 national awards. We had presentations at TASBO, ISM, and the key one that you see there is the one that I think is the most important one is that we have no management letter comments and an unmodified opinion that we continue to get every year. This is the TASBO Excellence in Business Award. This is the first year that we receive it. We're working towards the next one at the end of the year, and so I think it's something that there's only about, I don't know, I didn't count them, but it's less than 10 or 15 so far that have received that award this year. Bottom line, we have strong internal control structure. We have 24 full-time equivalents, 3% of the total personnel force, 1.8% in total budget, excellent bond ratings and financial indicators. And then I'm going to get a little technical and numberish, if you will. Debt payment ratio at 8%, current ratio at 3.4, which is a very strong number. Most companies and organizations have maybe a 1, 1.5, or a 2. We have 3.4 in terms of our working capital. Debt to asset ratio, we're at 29%. Return on assets, and this is because of COVID. And some of the debt reduction that we did that you see a negative, or typically is a positive, but for 2021, because of the COVID, we had two negative returns for those ratios. Bond per capita, we're at 23.23. Taxes per capita, 5.4, and the debt service load is 5%. Unassigned fund balance, we're at 21%. And financial efficiency analysis, because of one-time reduction of debt, we use some of that money to move to the debt service to the tune of $6.8 million. Operating measures, we have issued 51 RFPs, 2,180 POs, 659 contracts, 279 packets, and 99 agenda items. We needed just one more for the 100. And so those are the purchase orders by division. Operating measures, you see that in 2021 we had 1,129 employees, and we have 48.9 million in terms of the payroll. We also had transactions of 8,763, and the accounts payable payments were 19,255,977. Processed 1,165 W-2 forms, and we have 4 1099 miscellaneous. Again, those are new forms that the IRS, they divided it this year from miscellaneous to NEC forms, so we have 2 different types that we have to produce. Transactions during the year, 6,478 transactions, an average of $170 per transaction per swipe. We have 97 cards, and the majority of the cards are facilities, and then after that is just in general administration. Operating measures, so we have 670 contracts processed, and the largest one being case, because all the contracts and all the ones that are processed to the different school districts. In terms of accounts receivable, the amounts billed, 30 million, received 26.5 million, and we have 930 budget amendments and transfers processed during the year. In terms of HCDE Plus, we have 124,283 in fees for services that we generate, and we have 24 special revenue grants totaling 26.2 million on the average per year. This is data that's on our website, revenue and expenditures per capita. We're at 22. And then also our lease revenue supported debt, we're at $10.45 per capita and $3.12 per capita for maintenance notes. In terms of purchases per capita, we're at $5.23 for purchase orders and $4.70 for actual payments on those purchase orders. Contracts by sector, as you can see here, you have between construction, childcare, copiers, food service, the different commodities by sector, and this was just for 2020, 2021. We do have monthly lunch and learns, monthly school finance council. We have professional development, mental well-being for our staff, also relational leadership trainings as well that we've had throughout this year. Some of the key highlights, we do participate with other divisions in terms of best practices, part of committees and part of the super mentor and all other adoption fairs that we have. And let's see if I can get it right. What questions do you have? Oh, and we do have one person that was on The View about 2 months ago. So Kendra Jackson was on The View with The View folks.
That's really cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any reports from other board members or other reports from board members for events, activities, or committees?
No reports. I just wanted to give us a particular shout out. I just got off a 5,000 plus mile road trip, and while I was on that road trip, I got my Facebook feed was blown up with all these people that were at this HASB conference. And we happen to, for those who don't know, HASB's the Houston, I'm about to mess it, let me make sure I say it right. The Houston Area Alliance of Black School Educators. I said it right? Because the president is our director of Safe Secure Schools, Ms. Julie Andrews. So I want to shout them out. I saw it all in my feed. I had all these educator friends all over the place, like at this conference, and they were like, "Where you at?" And I'm like, "I'm on the road, y'all." So y'all enjoy it for me. So it looked like everybody had a great time. Even saw Dr. Keys. I saw somebody mention that Dr. Keys was their vice principal, and they were almost scared to see him when they saw him at the HASB conference. One of my frat brothers, he was saying, yeah, he said, you know, Dr. Keys used to be my vice principal. Now he's a colleague and also a frat brother, which I did not know. So about 4 years in, I'm finding out that as Corporal would say, you were in the same gang. But I'm just glad to see that everything went well. So I'm glad to see, I saw there was a huge HCDE presence there. So I just want to make sure that I gave proper shout out that, and particularly since the president is one of our directors. So I just want to make sure I said kudos. It looked great from the road. So thank you very much for doing what you do.
Thank you, Danny. Do we have any reports for other board committees? Don't think so. All right, we'll move on to our monthly financial reports from Dr. Amesqua.
I get to practice one more time. Okay. The first report is our financial highlights as of June 30th. Bear with me for a second while I get my marker. What color would you like? No, not that one. Green? How's that? All right, there you go. All right. So all our information is posted on our website, and we have our balance sheet as of June 30th, $33,079,785, liabilities of $2,328,537, and we have equity of $33,079,785. Our unaudited fund balance, we're at $24,997,629. We have excess of $4.6 million as of this time, which we'll utilize between now and the end of the year. Our financial ratios will go over, and I need to make sure I clear this out. The financial indicators for financial strength, efficiency, leverage, and revenue growth. The first one is the percentage of fund balance to general fund. We're at 36% versus 42% last year. We're at 31 million versus 41 million a year ago. A lot of that is because of the timing of having some of the revenues coming in and expenditures have been starting to be utilized. Unassigned fund balance, we have 52% versus 43% from a year ago. Our debt to income ratio, we're on target at 8.9% versus 8% a year ago. Our tax revenue to total revenue, we're at 29% versus the same thing as last year at 29%, so we're on target there. And we're at 3% on our indirect cost ratio as well. In our fee-for-service revenue ratio, we're at 21% versus 22% from a year ago. And our fee-for-service revenue growth ratio, we're at flat at this point in time at 0%. Some of our revenues will come in over the summer, and so we have a couple more months to report. We haven't had any budget amendments from January to May, and so now we're in June, we don't have any amendments as well. Revenues or inflows coming in during the year, we're at $49,556,461, and we're at budget to actual, we're at 89% of our revenues coming in. Both budget to actual for cumulative, we're at 68% in terms of revenues. In terms of expenditures and outflows, we're at 72%. typically would be at 83%, so that's a good savings of about 9% so far during the year. So if that keeps up, that means that we will now use all our budget for the year. So budget to actual, overall, we're at 69%. So what you want to see is that number at the bottom, 69, being as close as the one in the revenues, which is 68, within that range. On our COVID expenditures, we have $738,585 in the general fund. We still have some incentives to pay in the fall. And then we have Head Start of $1,590,054 still to utilize for Head Start. Our donations for the month of June, we're at $128,715. This month we had $12,663 in terms of donations, and most of them are from Head Start, different Head Starts that have been received during the month. In terms of the valuation for this year, we started in August with 521 billion. We're at 513 billion, so you can see that has actually dropped about 8 or 9 billion between the beginning and what we projected. So we need to be careful when we look at the projection for the new year to account for that delta. The last couple of years, it has not been like that. Used to be that it was always 100%, 99%. The last couple of years, this actually has gone down, so we need to be very careful that we don't overestimate the values in looking at for next year. So if those values, we're looking at potentially a 401,000 decline in the potential revenue because of that change in the valuation. Year to date, we're right now at 97.6% in collection. We received $25,176,920, and we've paid in HCAT fees $138,263 and $46,892 in tax office fees. Comparing this year to last year, we're at 97.6 right now versus 99% last year. The big reason why we have more revenue coming in, the beginning levy is much higher than a year ago, so that's why you see a drop in the collection rate. Disbursements for the month, all that information is posted on the website. 4,204,970, 466 transactions, 466 funds, 6 transfers, and 839 transactions. In terms of segment data for key budget managers, educator certification subsidy of $242,290, records management. Keep in mind that records management is about a month behind usually because they bill right about 10-15 days after the month, so it's always going to be a month behind. But right now it's $426,293. That's going to be more closer to maybe $100,000. School-based therapy services, $1,121,076. That's the tax subsidy that comes from the tax rate. Schools, $3,856,147, and then choice holding strong at 67% and transfer to general fund of $3,745,885. No budget amendments for the month of July. In our foundation update, educational foundation update, we have equity of $871,046. We have expenses of $65.23. And these are balances per program. So we added this new chart so you can see how much is in Partners in Education, still has 405. We have 51,000. And then we have After School Initiative and some of the other ones monies that it's in the educational foundation. In terms of our least revenue projects for the PFC, we continue to work on the small business program for construction. Our cash balance for June 30th, we have $41,371,262. That includes the PFC and the maintenance notes. And in terms of budget to actual, in terms of how much is the percentage spent, 42% is ABE's project, 16% Irvington, 10% High Point East project. Adult ed building and renovations, it's at 20%. Amounts available, and this is a new slide that we added for the Irvington project. We have $10,833,870, of which a portion of that, approximately 11, is from the budget from the maintenance notes and some local construction that we utilize. So we have a net amount of $10,833,000. That's the report for the financial highlights. What questions do you have?
No. All right. Thank you, Dr. Amezcua.
And we have now the investment report. It's just a quick summary. Let's see if I have that one. So, the investment report is as of June 30th. We just recently received the investment policy certificate. That is, actually, we should include this next time. It is the 2021-23 policy certificate. So we'll update that because it is certified now for the new years. Our portfolio, we are at $77,934,083, and the PFC is $22,377,912. Primarily, our funds are in Textpool, 19%, Lone Star at 40%, Texas Class at 17%, and Texas Star at 19%. 9% of our funds for the construction are in Textpool, and we're going to start extending the securities because as rates continue to go up, we can extend that more and take a higher risk because now the rates are higher. In terms of comparison from 2021 to 2022, our portfolio has been reduced by $8,403,207 by 10%, which is primarily through the use of construction funds. All our funds are overnight, $55,556,000.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. We don't have a quorum. We have to stop for a moment.
Oh, okay. Pause.
Practice your gestures.
Yes. Thank you.
And we're good. Thank you.
Year-to-date earnings, 89,606 and 46,100 in the PFC for year-to-date. We're earning 1.128%, and as you can see, the interest rates have been climbing. We used to receive between 1 and 2 basis points. We're right now at 118, and so that's the Federal Reserve increased 75 basis points on the rates. It looks like there's going to be 1% increase in the Fed funds rate probably this month. So you're going to start seeing maybe 2.18 return maybe in July and August if that holds true. These are the average rates in the Lone Star and Textpool and Text Class. So as you can see, the most recent ones are now $134, $150, $99, and so on. And what questions do you have?
Are there any questions? No. Are we done?
Thank you.
Sorry, thank you. All right. Moving forward, we're looking at the consensus agenda. Are there any items that anyone would like to have pulled from the consensus agenda? Seeing none, we'll put it to a vote. A motion, yeah.
So moved. Second.
So we have trustee, yeah, thank you. Motion by trustee Norris and seconded by trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, we'll put it for a vote. All in favor? We have 4-0. Thank you. All right, and moving forward to the non-consensus agenda, which is kind of far back here, so give us a moment. All right, 7 action items. Non-consensus. 7.1, approval of the Harris County Department of Education fiscal year 2022-2023 proposed annual budget totaling outflows for $172,919,156. $623,226 for the general fund and $46,259,560 for the special revenue fund, $4,097,770 for debt service fund, $43,611,715 for capital projects fund, $6,367,176 for internal service revenue, and $8,959,809 for the enterprise fund. The adoption of this budget also incorporates the 2022-2023 salary increases and schedules recommended by HCDE administration. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion by trustee Norris, seconded by trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, put it to a vote. All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. 7.2, approval to rescind, terminate approval of the job order contract method of procurement and job order contract with Nash Industries, Inc. for the modular building and related items at the proposed Early Head Start Center in the total amount of $1,284,155, previously approved at the May 18th, 2022 board meeting.
So
Do we have
moved.
a motion?
Second.
Motion by trustee Norris, seconded by trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, put it up for a vote. All in favor? 4-0. Motion passes. 7.3, approval of the purchase of a modular building for Aries Building Systems LLP for the proposed Early Head Start Center in an amount not to exceed $772,121, and delegate authority to the superintendent, his designee, to negotiate, finalize, and execute a contract.
So moved. Second.
Motion by trustee Norris, seconded by trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, we'll put it for a motion, or for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. 7.4, approval of the project delivery contract method of competitive sealed proposals under Chapter 2269, Subchapter D of the Texas Government Code for the site work, civil work, and related items for the proposed Barrett Station Early Head Start Center, fully funded by Head Start funds. Do I have a motion? Motion by trustee Norris, seconded by trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, let's put it for a vote. All in favor, aye. 4-0, motion passes. 7.5, approval of the purchase of a modular building from Aries Building Systems LLC for the proposed Barrett Early Station Early Head Start Center in the amount not to exceed $920,428, and delegate authority to the superintendent or his designee to negotiate, finalize, and execute a contract. Funded by Head Start. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
All right. Y'all gonna
Second.
fight?
I'll second it. Oh, yeah.
Motion by Trustee Brown, seconded by Trustee Norris. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, we'll put it for a vote. All in favor, say aye. 4-0, motion passes. 6, approval of the project delivery contract method of competitive sealed proposals under Chapter 2269, Subchapter D of the Texas Government Code for the site work, civil work related items for proposed Humble Early Head Start Center.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Brown, seconded by Trustee Norris. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, put it to a vote. All in favor? 7, approval of no-cost extension of the Coolwood Head Start project through U.S. Health and Human Services through January 2024. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Brown, seconded by Trustee Norris. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, put it to a vote. Motion passes 4-0. 7-8, approval of a 400 square foot water meter easement at the new ABS East location. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Norris, seconded by Trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, we'll put it to a vote. 4-0. Approval of agreements, including interlocal agreements, renewals, and purchases under CH Local that exceed $75,000 for fiscal year 2023, as required under policy CH Local for various HCDE divisions for an aggregate amount not to exceed $24,281,075. This is an annual estimate of projected and budgeted expenditures in anticipation of fiscal year 2022-2023. A list of projected levels of expenditures by vendor are outlined on the board packet. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Norris, seconded by Trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, put it to a vote. Motion passes 4-0. Approval of purchases for the new ABS East School for CDWG for technology items, Datavox Inc., for network and data infrastructure equipment, and Bloom USA Inc., for audio and visual equipment in the total amount of $151,706. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Norris, seconded by Trustee Brown. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll put it to a vote. Motion passes 4-0. And we are going to be moving number 11 into executive session. So I don't have the, just read this part?
You just read this and we
Okay.
take the time.
Okay. Under the Texas Government Code pursuant to any and all purposes permitted by sections 551.001 to 551.084, including but not limited to 551.071, 551.074, we're going into executive session at 2 o'clock. We're returning from executive session at 2:58. Back to agenda item number 11, we are going to be requesting some clarification through some questions, and whenever we receive those answers, we'll be able to review the information with our full board. So moving forward with 9, 10. We need to consider the approval of the settlement and release agreement with Aries Building Systems, LLC.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Norris, seconded by Trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, we'll put it for a vote. 4-0, motion passes. Do we have? Boop, boop. Discussion of possible action regarding future agenda items? Anyone? Seeing none, And move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, moved by trustee Norris, seconded by trustee Brown.
Trustee Brown.
Opposite way around. Is there any discussion? Put it to a vote. 4-0, motion passes. We're closed. Thank you.